There is a great anticipation over the next 2 days when civil servants across the country will vote on whether or not to go on strike. Now, the public sector workers have gone without a salary increase for 5 years now, as government has dealt with an economic depression, the COVID-19 pandemic and rising global inflation due to developments including Russia's war in Ukraine. Now, trade unions, though they say are hearing no more of it, are prepared to lead their members in industrial action against the state. Now, to help us gain perspective on this development, we are joined now by public policy analyst Dr. Marius Kudumo. A very good evening, Dr. Kudumo.
Good evening. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, neither side has really budged significantly over the negotiating period. Do you believe, for better or for worse, that the industrial action will help move this process forward?
I do not think so, because as you said in your introduction, the process have come over a long time. It's during that earlier stages where consensus or give and take should have taken place. At the stage where we are, it will be very difficult, but nothing is impossible in labor relations. If something comes up immediately, it can unlock the dispute, but it will be very difficult because of the long process that led to where we are now.
Now, we've seen the government's warning that the principle of no work, no pay will count during any strike action taken. How big do you expect that to factor into the workers voting tomorrow and on Friday?
I do not think that it will have any impact. You see, in labor relations, there is a stage where the workers reach a state where they are not rational, where they are emotional. I think the stage where they are now, they are not in a stage where they can listen whether you are making sense or not. There's anger and emotions that came in. I think that warning has come very late, and I don't see it impacting, because you are speaking to people who are in an emotional state. They are not in a stage of reasoning logically and absorbing what you are saying. So I do not see it having any impact.
Now, just how devastating could a prolonged civil servant strike be for the national economy? And in case that is the decision tomorrow, what options does government have to mitigate that impact?
Yeah, it will have an impact. Obviously, we are in a bad shape in terms of the performance of the economy. We are also in a bad shape in terms of the conditions of living, the standard of living. It's becoming very difficult for the civil servant, even for people who are not working. It's not only in the economy. The public service is about the public good. It's about services. It's about providing services. So it will be devastating, not only on the economy, but also on ordinary people who will be casualties actually in this process, because they rely on services from government. So it's a very difficult situation, but it has far-reaching implications, especially on those that rely on those services, especially also the conditions in which we are finding ourselves coming from COVID and the implications thereof, because we have not actually understood properly what is the impact on the mental health of the COVID-19 that we are coming from. So it is devastating, but obviously, as I explained, we are finding ourselves in a very difficult situation, both for the government as well as for the public servants in terms of their condition of living. So,
well, Dr. Kudumo, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it. That is Dr. Marius Kudumo, public policy analyst, just briefing us on what the implications could be for this possible strike.